Here at the nighttime again. And we got some news. Let me stop. But I ain't gonna lie though, you get some cold water, it do make you feel a little more energetic. Yes, we are live. Yes, we're live. We always got some stories. There's always something going on in higher education. People don't appreciate that though. Not yet. We setting up a little bit. We setting up. If it's not Harvard, who is it? I told y'all, Harvard is some. In this case, I don't think they doing anything, but Harvard always got their name in something, man. Harvard name is always coming up. Hold on. Harvard always got their names coming up, man. Let me do a sound check real quick. All right, y'all can hear me. Harvard always got their name coming up. Poor guys. Before I get to the story, disclaimer: the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of creator Henry is only speaking from his experience. Right. Let's go. All right. So, as you see, as I make the title, where is it? As you see, I make the title. Harvard faces major crackdown. Why this could impact all colleges, right? Harvard is facing a crackdown. By who? You know, man, about the Trump administration, man. You already know, man. You already know what's going on. You already know how they coming, right? So, if you've been watching this, you know this is no secret. Harvard, Ivies, anybody with money in a college, they been getting hit. Like, going out, duking it out in court. They been, hey, we ain't paying y'all. You ain't paying us. Or we ain't doing that. You know, like all this going on. It's like, oh my goodness, right? So this was breaking news. Of course, we got our sources. We got it from the Chronicle Higher Education. Let you know that it's very credible. It says Trump administration turns up the heat on Harvard with financial lever. And don't get me wrong, guys, there are other credible sources as well that we read. Like, I don't want to say the name wrong. It's like 2 sources. They got similar names, and I don't say them because I don't want to get them confused, which they should have probably did something about that so that doesn't happen because it confuses me a little bit. So, Trump administration turns up heat on Harvard with financial lever. It says that the education department has continued its efforts to punish Harvard University, announcing Friday that it was placing it on a heightened cash monitoring. So, like monitor, they're monitoring. Yeah, heightened cash monitoring. Never heard of it, right? It says the status usually reserved for institutions that are in danger of financial failure. So let's be clear. Harvard is not, at least from my knowledge, they are not in financial failure. It says it's for institutions that are in danger of financial failure. It requires the university to pay out amounts for federal financial aid to students and then get reimbursed from the government. It said initially, at least more of an administrative annoyance, which means it's just going to annoy the administrative staff or just annoy the institution to push paperwork on why, whatever. It's pretty much like pushing a button to mess with somebody. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. And so it's more of an administrative annoyance for the university than a true financial threat. It says the university must also post a bond. The university must also post a bond. The fact that they said a bond is crazy. A bond of 36 million. 36 million ain't nothing to Harvard. And we're gonna find that out. I read this a little bit, but we're gonna find that out too. 36 million ain't nothing to Harvard. The university must post a bond of 36 million. It said, according to the department's announcement, as a financial, I quote, as a financial guarantee to cover potential liabilities and ensure that Harvard meets its financial obligations to both students and the department. So pretty much they got to cough up 36 million. But they got 36 million. For sure, for sure. The department cited several reasons for its actions. So when they say the department, they're saying Department of Education, Trump administration, but mostly Department of Education. Every time they say Trump administration, it's usually a, you probably know this, guys. It's probably just, it's an attention grabber, right? But it's really, how can we say, it's really the Department of Education. But they know nobody's going to look up the Department of Education. And so they said right here that the department cited several reasons for its actions, including that Harvard had issued $1 billion in. They said, including that Harvard had issued $1 billion in bonds. So when they say bonds, disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, but bonds are a financial instrument. Do I understand bonds fully? No. I need to go to my people who understand bonds. What do I understand about bonds? Bonds are a safety net. From what I heard, don't quote me, from what I heard and read in some books and videos, doing my research as I go, bonds are a safety net to fight against inflation. That's all I'm going to leave it at. If you want to know more about bonds, go to my man Warren Buffett. Go to some very credible financial instrument people who understand the financial world a lot more than I do. And so it says partly to protect. So the reason that they sold, they said Harvard issued $1 billion in bonds. It says partly to protect against the government's efforts to cut off federal research funding to the university. That is a boss move. I wish my man G was here. That is a boss move. The university said, look, we need to hedge. That is like a hedge term. They said we need to hedge. Harvard is diversified investment crazy. Like I said that wrong, but they're like very diversified in their investments. Harvard said, look, if they take our research funding for real, like for good, we need to have some money or be able to liquidate some and make up for that research funding that's going to be taken in this current administration. So don't joke and say, look, man, we got $1 billion in bonds, or at least they issued $1 billion in bonds, right? And they said, hey, we just doing in case. Look, that's how you prepare as an institution. Is every institution gonna have 1 billion? No. Some institutions won't have 10 million. And so that's how you do that though. Let's keep going. The department also continues to allege that Harvard is in violation of federal civil rights laws. We already know about that. And warned in the letter that the university could lose access to all federal financial aid. In quotations. I don't know who's quoting right now. But it says, taking on the additional debt may make it materially, how do you say that word? It is material, but they added LLY to it, right? Let's see. TV turned up. Engineering a little bit.
Materially.
Oh, materially. Okay, materially. Had a brain for a moment. They said, and quote, taking on additional debt may make it materially more difficult for Harvard to satisfy any liabilities with the department in the event that it loses access to federal funding, the department said in the news release. And when they say the department, I don't know if they talking about Harvard department. They didn't really say Harvard's department or the education department, so I'm not going to say the education department. I'm not going to say neither. We're just going to keep going. Early in September, a federal district court judge ruled against the government's efforts to cut off federal research funds. In June, the same judge issued a preliminary injunction against the government's effort to ban international students from enrolling at Harvard. We covered that too. They pretty much Harvard essentially got a win. I won't say won, but got a win. That the judge issued a preliminary injunction against the government's efforts to ban international students from enrolling at Harvard. It says, but the United States Department of State has opened new investigations to determine if the university is complying with the federal laws. With the federal rules. Well, same thing, federal laws, rules. Federal rules on admitting such students. It says Harvard and the White House have reportedly been in talks to settle the issues, but no agreement has been announced. Neither Harvard nor the department responded to the request for comment. The Education Department's announcements Friday will create more of a bureaucratic problem for Harvard than a financial one, said Robert Kelchin. If I say that name right, it's like I'm looking this person up. Robert Kelchin, and last name is spelled Kelchen. They have him labeled down as an author. He wrote a book called Higher Education Accountability. It's funny because I always talk about higher education being taking accountability. They say Robert Kelchin, if I said that right, is an educational leadership and policy studies. He has a PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And then he is professor and head of the Department of Educational Leadership and Policy Studies. So this is where my education comes in, guys. Funny or not. So yeah, I don't know if y'all remember on the live stream me talking about we should have took like government structure, like boards, because the governor selects the board members in some states, right? And I'm learning all that stuff right now in my class. Shout out to my grad school once again, bro, forever and always. So check it, right? They're saying, let me finish. Robert Kelchin said this is gonna be more of a bureaucratic problem for Harvard than a financial one. Robert Kelchin. And then he is, like they said, head of the Department of Educational Leadership and Policy Studies at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. So we take a class on this. And this can sum up some things I learned in graduate school. So when he says this is going to be more of a bureaucratic problem than a financial problem, he's giving you an organizational theoretical perspective. And so in this case, you can have a collegium problem, you can have a bureaucratic problem, you can have a cultural problem, you can have a political problem, right? And so many more. And if we all know what bureaucratic means, as a person who really just learned deep down what bureaucratic means, I had to write it, type it, write it down, type it, write it, speak on it, talk about it. So the bureaucratic problem is pretty much structure, guys. Bureaucratic is really structure. Bureaucratic is from examples of us, like if we worked at McDonald's, right? McDonald's has made a business, right? Shout out to McDonald's, it's $1 billion empire. McDonald's has made this system, pretty much a process where anybody can do this job. Anybody is expendable, right? Make the patties, process, right? Whatever. You know, if you go watch the movie, everybody know. And so this on the bureaucratic problem is more like going to be them following the structure, if I could put that in the right context. Because it's not just about, I can't say, with the bureaucratic problem. I got my notes up. I'm not even going to do this to myself. Because it's a deeper layer of the bureaucratic problem. Come on. Oh, we doing that today. We doing that today, computer. You gonna do me like that in front of everybody. See, this is why you can't trust your computers. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sometimes you gotta screen. You know, there we go. I guess I had a hiccup. So, bureaucracy, and then saying this is a bureaucratic problem, right? And the theoretical foundation is a modernist metaphor machine. So Harvard essentially is not a machine, right? And when you're doing things bureaucratic, it's in quotations, no name, quotations, a place for everyone and everyone in their place. Now I bet y'all like, what is this meaning? What does that mean, guys? Bureaucratic. Structure, follow a chain of command, and it has to wait, and it can take time. It can be like they can do what they did. Harvard can do everything they need to do on their part, right? Go to the next level. Then it can get stuck. Then that could take about 3 or 4 months, as we know. Go to the next level. Bureaucratic problems, right? And so this just pretty much puts unnecessary pressure on them. Like I said, it's like pushing a button, right? It's like somebody constantly taking you to court. Essentially, they know what the outcome gonna be, but you have to go through the normal process and bureaucratic process. You have to go through this structure. You can't just skip in the structure, no matter who you are or what you are or what you do. You have to go through this bureaucratic structure, right? And so that's why we seen, like, when we talked about one of the colleges on the verge of closing down, losing accreditation, I believe it's like St. Augustine, it's the HBCU, don't quote me on that. Remember when we said they went to court, which was a very strategic move on their part? They decided to go to court to drag out their accreditation, but it puts students in risk who are coming to the school. You know, it puts students in risk who are still coming to the school unaware of the situation. So as we keep going, it says a 15% threshold. One aspect of the education department's decision to sanction Harvard was unusual. It said that it was in part influenced by the university's sale of bonds in the last year. So because the education department decision to sanction Harvard was unusual, because in part influenced the university's sale of bonds in the last year. Like and subscribe, man. Harvard making boss moves. So Harvard just got too much money, it sounds like to me, which is crazy. So it says, in quotation, the department believes the issuance of these bonds is likely to have a significant adverse impact on the financial condition of Harvard. The department believes the issuance of these bonds is likely to have a significant adverse impact on the financial condition of Harvard. The face value of the bonds amounts to roughly 15% of Harvard's annual revenue. So with the bonds and the 15% annual revenue, guys, man, I wish we had somebody here to come explain this and break this down to us. More of all, somebody close in the story. But let's keep going. It says, if that standard were to be followed across higher ed, a Chronicle analysis determined that more than 200 private, nonprofit universities would have violated it had it been in effect between 2021 and 2023 fiscal years. Among those institutions, it says Sacred Heart University. Is that a real thing? Is that a real college? Ain't no way. Let me look this up. It looks like this is a college. Yeah. Sacred Heart University. It's a college. Oh, Sacred Heart University is a real college. It's in Connecticut. Fairfield, Connecticut. Fairfield, Connecticut. So it says right here that among those institutions, Sacred Heart University, where Education Secretary Linda McMahon was a trustee during the 2021 to 2022 academic year. Interesting. She was a trustee during the 2021 to 2022 academic year. Ooh, 2 former government officials joined board of trustees. And we just talked about this, guys. We just talked about this in class. I did not know this. This is a reaction right now. I'm getting hyped. I did not know that Linda McMahon was a board of trustees at Sacred Heart University. Wow. That's crazy. Bro, education is, bro, I'm telling y'all, they're playing the game at a different level, bro. People play this game at a different level when it comes to higher education. They know that not only do you need money. Hold on. I got you, Car. I got you. Not only did they just say, like, look, remember, guys, Linda McMahon is a billionaire on net worth. On net worth. She's a billionaire. She's a billionaire. Why would a billionaire want to be on the board of trustees of a college? Why? Now I'm going to let y'all think about that. Why? Is this a problem? Because now, remember, everybody said before, nonpartisan now, put some things together. Remember, everybody said that Linda was not qualified to be Department of Education Secretary. The Secretary of Education for the Department of Education. Remember that, right? She was on the board in 2021 as we speak. She got appointed on 2021, October 6th, to be the board of trustees. Now, how did she get on there? I don't know. They said right here she had left the board to serve on President Donald J. Trump cabinet as administrator of the Small Business Administration. So, business, man. Just business. That's what I'm getting out of it. But Sacred Heart University, where Education Secretary Linda McMahon was a trustee during the 2021 to 2022 academic year. Can't get over that. Sacred Heart issued $100 million in bonds. God, I'm telling you, these colleges, they invest, they're doing things different. Sacred Heart issued $100 million in bonds, including for refinancing debt, which represented 30% of the $333 million generated in total revenues in the 2022 fiscal year. It says right here that a new financial standard. At least 225 four-year private nonprofit colleges have recently issued debt in a single year that amounted to at least 15% of total revenues. A threshold the education department cited and sanctioned at Harvard. They got some name of schools talking about how, like, look, the debt they incurred. So, like, they pretty much have, like, the debt they incurred, the single year revenue, because the debt incurred is way more than their single year revenue. And then they have the share of debt relative to the revenue. So kind of like a debt ratio, essentially. But I'm not the biggest finance person, right? But what I'm telling you guys, so think about this perspective, right? They're saying Harvard could be in trouble financially, potentially, from the issuance or the issue of the bonds. And ain't it crazy how financial literacy ties into education and education ties into financial literacy? God, this is why education is important. It all goes together, essentially. Money is psychology. Money is not, I'm the math wizard. Because I'm not a math wizard. I'm not a math wizard. Money is a behavior with consistency, however you want to put it. If Harvard is potentially in trouble financially, I'm not even going to do a breakdown of a college today. No, I am going to do a breakdown of a college because Sacred Heart University just caught my eye. And so if Harvard is potentially in trouble, right? If Harvard is potentially in the money problem trouble, what does that mean for your institution? It seems like all institutions have an issue, not an issue, but bonds. It seems like a lot of schools have bonds invested in the college in case they need it to maneuver and diversify. If Harvard is potentially in trouble, what does that mean for your school in the future? It seems like something most won't care about just yet. But what will your college do? Is your college just going to follow the norms so they don't end up potentially being in a Harvard situation like your university or your 2 year? No college is really safe right now. But 2 years, you can deal with the prices. 2 years are not on the radar in this case. Let's make it realistic. Universities are in trouble. Like, a lot of them are in debt, severe debt. But most people say, oh, they're going to be in debt, and then everything goes on as normal. That's not the case right now. Do we not see what's going on right now? Do we not see what's going on? I'm giving you fire insurance on a burning building right here, right in front of you. It's literally about to burn. I'm giving you fire insurance. Just like he said in the bit short, if I said it right. It's just something, like it's described, man. It's just something to think about, man. Like, what would I do if I was in your situation? Would I go to university? I gotta go to university. I gotta go get my bachelor's. Because they got the University of Notre Dame up here. If that's the Notre Dame, I think it is. It could be a whole nother type of college called Notre Dame. Believe it or not. It could be a school with a similar name. But I think it's only one Notre Dame. Let me see. Yes, University of Notre Dame is on here. Per Chronicle Higher Education. They incurred a $99 million debt, but their single year revenue was $27.5 million. Shoot, they got the highest percentage on here. This was fiscal year 2022. This was fiscal year 2022. Now, will Notre Dame shut down? I don't think Notre Dame will shut down. I think Notre Dame will have to raise their prices on you, or get some more state funding. I think they had to do something like that. Because when your school is in debt, your school has to do things to get more money. And they can't just the president can't keep asking for money. This is how it affects you. When your school is in debt, they raise the prices on you. Meal plans, room and board, tuition, other campus amenities that you want to enjoy. You have to foot the bill. In most cases. Unless your school just does a 360, oh, we got you, we covering you, blah, 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 come out with some big news like Emory did. Shout out to Emory. And so it's something to make you think. Because you're like, oh, why prices keep going up? The states in America, United States of America, are not putting money into education right now. How do I know? Because I'm not seeing prices go down. And I don't think prices will personally go down. I think prices can stay stagnant, for years. Like some institutions just kept the price normal. Because in business, you just don't really go down on prices once you go up. They don't do that. So, yeah. How does your institution stack up in this situation? Now, we're going to do our review on Sacred Heart. Remember, this is why you started at 2 year. All this going on right now, all this madness going on right now, people probably hear me yelling right now, talking to this phone. Started at 2 year. Save your money on your education. Save your money. Do your gen ed, transfer. Do your gen ed, transfer. I can't stress that enough. Collect your rings. These degrees are my rings. I'm going for my 4th one. I'm getting to my spot. Right? All I'm saying, you have a chance to prepare for the storm right now. You have a chance to prepare for the storm. I'm waiting for everything just to happen right now. I'm waiting for schools to be like, close down, close down, close down, close down, close down. Oh, this school needs this much money. This school needs that much money. This school needs... And then the most bad decision thing you can make if you are a parent or a student, potentially being prospective to a school, is not know your school situation. That's the Because one minute they can have an accreditation, the next year, next semester, they can lose it, which is detrimental to your collegiate career. Not as an athlete, but as an academic student who is trying to save money in college and make something for yourself to change your generation. College changes generations in this lens. College sets a new tone for your legacy. And I personally feel like, don't get me wrong, everybody does not need to go to school, but if you set a trend of, if I put it in a lens, very theoretical, real quick before we do our review of Sacred Heart University. If you are a person who did not go to college, right? How you think that makes your legacy, your kid, feel that you didn't go to college? They might say, I don't need to go to college. Then if they don't end up going to college because you don't understand as a parent or guardian, yeah, you got millions. Yes, you got billions. But like I said, billionaires and millionaires send their kids to college. Real billionaires and millionaires send their kids to college. And if you are a billionaire, millionaire, whoever you are, but you didn't go to college, shout out to you. But like I said, your kid is like, I don't need to go to college. You didn't go to college. I'm going to be successful. I got this plan. I don't need to go. And you like, well, you know, they grow up, right? They're successful, right? But their kid is like, I don't need to go to college. But that kid don't got that gene like the past two people to not be able to go to college. You see? Maybe that generation legacy kid needs to just take over something that the previous two did not go to college. Having a college degree at this point is standard, necessity. But is the prices fair? No. Prices ain't never been fair. As I tell people, I was on the city bus in my city. City bus. I was on the city bus, right? Bank account was a little hurting. You feel me? It needed oxygen. That guy needed some oxygen. And the 2-year opened the door for me. But to stay on topic, that legacy who's trying to follow in the grandparent, the granddad, grandmom, I said grandma, the grandmom, the grandma, the granddad, and then trying to follow in the footsteps of the dad or mom, because they just assume the dad, the granddad, and the dad didn't go to college. That legacy, like, I don't need to go to college. That is a risk because you don't know what the future would look like for your legacy. If you plan on having legacies, like a legacy, living by that last name, this is our niche. This is what we're known for. You don't know by them not going to college that they not thinking like, I ain't know that. They got to hope that you showed them the ropes, right? They got to hope you showed them the ropes. What if you missed something? What if it's something really important? You just be like, I thought you would know that. Like now, we in a time now, our generation don't know that everything is on a public website. Everything is public information. If I want to know anything, I can get it off the internet. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that in college, they teach us how to go surf the internet and pull information. It's not intelligent. It's just more like common sense. We had a discussion about that in the vehicle today. Colleagues, we had a discussion about that. We was like, they don't really make us intelligent that we know how to submit a paper. Real talk. It don't make us intelligent that we know how to submit a paper. It makes us intelligent that we can remember where to go get the information. That's what makes it intelligent. We know where to go get the information. We could tell you, possibly try to remember. Everybody has a great memory like that. I know I can't tell you exactly where I got it, but I could tell you where the likelihood of where to go get that information. You don't know where to start until you take that class, right? You don't know, like I was going in the right direction. I'm just talking real quick. I was going in the right direction. Researching higher education, I learned a lot more in graduate school, don't get me wrong. Shout out to graduate school at GSU, Georgia State University. But was I going in the right direction? That wasn't going to be safe for you all on this channel. who watch me and trying to save money in college. That wasn't going to be safe for you all. That wasn't going to be safe. So I took the opportunity to go to graduate school so I can make sure that you are getting the proper information so that you can save money in college and potentially turn that into profit, which most likely you will. You for sure will. Starting at 2-year college, bridge it to a 4-year. What? You need to make sure that 4-year, you got your 4-year? Oh, you know what 4-year you want to go to? Great. Now, they just say that 4-year you don't get in. It's cool. It's not over. We take another route. When you close one door, we open another. That's just how we do. Okay, that 4-year you want to go to, make sure that, find out what 4-year, find out what 2-year, make sure you find out what 2-year has an articulation agreement with your dream school 4-year. Then you're going to go to that 2-year, because most 2-years got open admission. You're going to go to that 2-year, and then you're going to do what you need to do your first 2 years, get your associate's degree if you need it. I say get your associate's degree, because you can turn your associate's degree into getting a full-time or part-time job that pays you way more money than an inconsistent job today. That's all I'm going to leave it at. So when you get your associate's degree, then you can go to your 4-year. Oh, you still working a part-time job with the government or whatever, getting guaranteed hours, and you at school on campus, enjoying that campus life, but still making that money. You go to school by day. Hey, you go to school by day, work at night, or you go to school, you go to work by day and go to school at night. Or you just do all your schoolwork online and just be like, I'm chilling while I'm in college. Speaking on behalf, set me up. If you ain't with speaking on behalf, I don't know what you're doing at college. For real. So that's how we, like, if I can go back and do it over again, guys, I could do this with no problem. Sometimes I wish you could script my degrees so I could do this again real quick. This is like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But in that case, shout out to the people that came in for us, man. We got some views, man. I appreciate that, man. I'll be checking. I gotta shout my people out who stopped in for a little bit. Sacred Heart University. I can't believe Linda McMahon was a board of trustee. I'm bringing that up in class. That is a shocker, man. The little things you don't know. I tell you. Who said, man? Sacred Heart University. Never heard this school, though, until now. They got a good rating on Google. Ain't it funny colleges can get ratings on Google? I think that's hilarious. Like and subscribe, guys. That is how we keep going. That's how we get more reach. Even if you stop in for a few seconds, this is life-changing information. Okay. Sacred Heart University. Before I start, let's look at their tuition and fee. I think they're going to be pricey because they're private. They're going to be pricey. Sacred Heart University. They have about 6,904 students, according to the U.S. Department of Education, the U.S. Department College Scorecard, as I like to say. Very credible. They are a four-year university. They are a private nonprofit. They are in the suburban area. They have a medium population of students. I believe it's over 15,000 to be considered large, if I'm not mistaken. And then they are a special destination for Roman Catholic. They have a graduation rate of 70%. Let me try some water. When I start doing that, I need water. All right. They have a graduation rate of 70%. That's right over the 58% of four-year colleges, which is pretty good. It's a C average. I always say on a 100% scale. The average annual cost to go to this institution is $45,459. Let's fact check that. Sacred Heart University ain't playing with their prices. They're not playing. So I'm looking for prices 2025, 2026 full-time undergraduate program. I don't do graduate programs, guys, because I know graduate school is expensive. Some graduate schools do have good prices. If you want me to review the prices of a graduate program, I'm open to it. But most graduate school prices are pretty, you know. My graduate school wasn't that pricey. Your boy gonna always go where he can save money. That's just me. But full-time undergraduate to it, full-time undergraduate to full-time undergraduate to full-time undergraduate tuition and fees 2025 to 2026. Whew. I got it. So right here it's saying that full-time undergraduate tuition, 12 to 18 credit hours, fall and spring only. You're looking at 26 on estimate. You're looking at $26,000 per semester. So what I do 26,000 times what? I do 26,000 times 2 for 2 semesters. That's $52,000 off the bat right there. $52,000. That doesn't include your mandatory fees. That doesn't include a credit overload tuition fee, I guess. They consider credit overload tuition. It's a separate transaction, it looks like. Don't know what that is. They got winter, late spring. They doing like, they separating everything, not to confuse you. But you're looking at $52,000 in tuition alone. That does not include the room and board, and that does not include the meal plan. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is a private institution, which means most people know what they're paying. Most parents or families know what they're paying when they go to Sacred Heart University. But I do 52. I'm just gonna do tuition. I'm not going to include their meal plan or room and board, because you need to know it's gonna be a lot more if I include that. So 52,000 times 4 in 4 years is $208,000 that you're going to pay if you go to Sacred Heart University for 4 years. If you go for 4 years. Most people graduate in 5 or 6 years in undergraduate. So the sticker price is off a little bit because the average annual cost is $45,459. But like they say, average annual cost and tuition, at least for 2025, 2026, you're looking at $52,000 annual cost. So they did say though that the return on investment is pretty good. It's pretty good. And within 10 years of going to this school, Sacred Heart University, you're gonna have a salary of $75,000. But that's within 10 years. So you can either be right at that in 10 years or below that, right? Below that number. And the number, I say it's pretty good, but you think about it, you pay, unless your parents paying for it, you took out a lot of money. If you took out loans, we're going to see how many students take out loans to go to this school. You $208,000 to hopefully get a $75K salary. It depends. I don't think it's a good return on investment, personally. Nose burning. So, we talk about graduation rate. Students return to the institution 85% of the time. After their first year attending Sacred Heart University, students return 85% of the time. They do. They return 85% of the time. Financial aid and debt. So, okay, as we thought, 58%, almost 60% of their students receive federal loans, which means this school is very expensive, which means students are taking out federal loans to go here. And the average debt you're going to get going here is $25,000. Keep in mind, guys, when we did the number, was 52,000, I said 25, was 52,000 divided by 2. That's 26,000. Remember, we said that if you do 26,000 pretty much times 2, you're going to get about $52,000. So they're saying like your average debt is going to be $25,000. Then you know, like, look, it's accurate about the sticker price on the website and the College Scorecard. So your average debt, if you go here, is going to be $25,000, possibly. And so I don't like that. And so the median earnings, we already talked about that. You have an 86% chance. You have an 80%, you have an 86% chance of students. 86% chance. That's brain fart. You have an 86% chance of earning more than a high school graduate. 86. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Top institutions, because I never heard of Sacred Heart University. I'm looking at their Nobel alumni. Schools that been having that number has been pretty accurate with the return, like with the salary you would make when graduating. Now, if you want to know about the campus diversity, I strongly encourage you to take a campus tour to the school, because reading one thing online versus going could be different. So Sacred Heart University has an acceptance rate of 68%. Why? Because they need people to go to this school. Like I said, this school was giving me like, I don't think it's worth that much. They have a 68%. That's a high number to accept students at a private school. And they do not require a SAT or ACT. They finna come get me. I'm giving out too much free game to y'all. They finna come get me. But they don't require the ACT, ACT. What do I recommend this school? What do I rate this school? Let me look at their Noble alumni. Real quick. Let me look at their Noble alumni. Noble alumni help out a little bit, because Noble alumni really, truly build schools. Oh, he's an actor, I think. I know him. Kevin Nealon, if I say that right, but he's definitely a comedian, American comedian and actor. Yeah, he played in Happy Gilmore 1 and 2. He played in something called Blended. He mostly be with Happy Gilmore in movies. He be teaming up with Adam Sandler a lot. He be teaming up with him. So he went to this institution. Interesting. But he did other things, but I think he's part of that SNL, that Saturday Night Live crew. I think he was part of that crew. That crew stayed together when people left. But he's pretty good. See? But to rate them though, I'm gonna give them a, because they really didn't have nobody. I'm gonna rate this school a D. Because it's private too. Pass but fail. You know, you get the credit, but you can't transfer nowhere with it. That's like a D. At least in Georgia, that's how I go. You can pass it, but you might could transfer it, but they get a D rating. Sacred Heart University. Yeah, they get a D. I did not know Linda McMahon was a board of trustee. Gonna have me thinking tonight as I read and do some marketing tonight to post for this upcoming week. Interesting. So I hope y'all enjoyed the live stream. I appreciate everybody. We hit our mark right at the 50, before the 50. I hope y'all can play this, enjoy this, show this to your kids, show them the main parts, the attention span. These kids' attention spans are a little drooly. So try to show it to them, life-changing information, and play this on repeat 1,000 times. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I gotta do schoolwork. See y'all Monday. See y'all Monday. And peace, chicken grease, and what that car said. Indeed, yes indeed.